Hi, this is Clara for Blockchain of Things. Today, we'll learn the ins and outs of the log message node. The log message node on Catenis Flow allows individuals to easily log information to the Bitcoin blockchain by inserting message content or IPFS message hash references into a Bitcoin transaction. Information is logged directly to a Bitcoin transaction if data is less than or equal to 75 bytes or characters. When content is above 75 bytes, Catenis Flow employs automated content size deduction and hashes the content, then places the content's hash into the Bitcoin blockchain while placing the content itself onto IPFS. Note that the content's IPFS hash that is placed into the Bitcoin transactions is base 56 encoded. If you would like to decode the entry into a UTF-8 hash, there is a nifty base 56 decoder/encoder written by James Stanley that can be found at this link. So let's begin. First, let's review the Node Properties panel field. With Node-RED running in your browser, drag a log message node into your workspace and open the Node Property Configuration slide-out panel by double-clicking on the node. Node-RED specific fields include the name field and connection field, while Catenis Flow settings fields include the encoding dropdown, encrypt checkbox, off-chain checkbox, storage dropdown, and asynchronous checkbox. Let's go through the functions of each of these fields, starting with the name field. Add a descriptive name of your choice to the name field that will help differentiate this node from others of the same type on the Node-RED workspace. This is strongly recommended in order to keep your flow organized, but it is not required. In the connection field, you can set a previously configured Catenis virtual device connection or add a new virtual device. If you need to configure a new virtual device, check out the video at this link to learn how. Now let's take a look at the encoding drop-down menu. Catenis Flow will automatically encode the content you send into one of these three types you designate: UTF-8, base 64, or hexadecimal. UTF-8 is typically associated with textual content and is the default encoding type Catenis uses. Base 64 is typically used when one wants to handle data sorted in the form of a document. Hexadecimal is typically used when one wants to express binary numbers. Catenis Flow defaults to encrypting all content it logs with military-grade encryption. However, if you want your data to be logged in clear text, deselect the Encrypt checkbox. All Catenis messages default to being sent via the Catenis off-chain protocol. You can choose to disable off-chain messages and send a standard message instead by unchecking the off-chain message checkbox. Disabling off-chain messages is highly discouraged, as standard messages incur higher fees, cost more Catenis credits, and create unneeded Bitcoin transactions. Catenis Flow supports two different modes of storage and offers automatic detection of which storage is needed based on the content size. In the storage dropdown, you can choose to use automatic detection, which will automatically detect the size of the content you are logging, and if the content is 75 bytes or less, it will place the content in a Bitcoin transaction. If the content is above 75 bytes, it will create a signature hash of the content and place this signature hash in a Bitcoin transaction while placing the content itself on IPFS. Alternatively, you could choose to select the Embed option, which will force the content being logged to be embedded with a Bitcoin transaction. If the content is above 75 bytes and this option is selected, Catenis Flow will return an error message. A third option is Force External Storage. This setting will force the content being logged to be hashed. Its hash will be placed within a Bitcoin transaction and its content will be placed in external IPFS storage even if the content is smaller than 75 bytes. If checked, the async checkbox forces the content to be logged asynchronously. This is useful when handling content that is large, typically above 10 megabytes. Additional properties can be set by passing in a JSON object when handling large content. Note that inputs injected into this node via a JSON object containing alternate node properties will override the properties set on this node's slide-out properties panel. To learn how to handle large content using a JSON object, check out the tutorial at this link. Now let's take a look at the example flow found at this link. Copy the example flow. Click the Node-RED hamburger menu and click Import to display the Import Flow dialog box. Paste the flow into the import box and click the Import button. This flow is a working example implementing the log message node. You can pause this tutorial now to explore this flow on your own. Now that you understand the log message node, you're ready to begin building your own flows with the log message node. In our next video, you will learn how to build your own version of the flow that we just imported.